We know Vladimir Putin today as the intimidating and boastful leader of Russia. But where did he come from and how did he come to be so powerful? Mark Fulmer takes us back to Putin's teen years to help us understand what Putin's ambitions are and what may be in store for the Western world.
Where the economy had been in shambles, now that there was a gross domestic or GDP, there was signs of economic prosperity in Russia. But right away, Putin seizes upon the opportunity to begin rebuilding the Russian military and to maintain their presence in an international order militarily. This obviously is going to create some tensions with nations like Ukraine and also NATO. We would talk about NATO and the EU.
Does this mean everyone wants to break off and do their own thing, or where are we headed with this?
Many of the nations, again, this was a setup after the fall of the Berlin Wall, the demise of the Soviet Union in 1991. They began really hungering for their independence from Russia, a Russian authority. And so Ukraine, Poland, and you begin, I'm going to use Ukraine, especially focus on Ukraine because the context, it leads into the context of what we're talking about geopolitically. So 15, you had 15 former Soviet republics. They're all in line to claim their independence, okay, when the Soviet Union collapses. However, these nations, they have significant hurdles. It's not like they can become automatically democratized, quote unquote, and be set on their own way. And hey, yeah, we've got into we now can write our Declaration of Independence and go about our way. The hurdles were they still had very fragile economies because, again, they were under Soviet domination. And so they were devastated as well. Resources were depleted. Ukraine was no exception. Ukraine was called the breadbasket of Europe because they were so rich with farmland and soil, one of the largest agriculture producers of wheat. And so they were looked at as the breadbasket of Europe for many, many decades.
You know what's funny about that is when I lived, just as an aside, I used to live in Canada. I mentioned that my first job was in Alberta, Canada. Yeah. Well, I met my wife in the province next door, Saskatchewan.
Yeah.
There are a lot of Ukrainian people in Saskatchewan. I guess what their main export is wheat.
Yes.
Wheat and canola and things that Ukraine is growing today. In fact, there was such a high Ukrainian population there that when I worked at the radio station there, we would have commercials for Christmas, and then we would have Ukrainian Christmas.
Yes.
Because they worked on the Julian calendar. And, and there was such a large population that we would actually have to create this like almost dual thing.
Shalom, Torah fans. Give this video a thumbs up and share it with a friend. Tap the subscription button and the bell icon. And I promise to update weekly with in-depth biblical research. Be sure to download the new michaelrood.tv app for both mobile and home devices for even more commercial-free content.